Good evening, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Two Unholy Healers. I am Collean O'Brien, and I am here with...
And I'm Keryn Lee. Hello, everybody.
Yes, thank you so much for watching, whether you're watching us live or watching the replay. We're so pleased that you decided to spend a little time with us on our premiere episode. So thank you so much for being here. We are two unholy healers, which has a nice ring to it.
We thought that would make an interesting name. It's just, of all the different titles we came up with, that was the one that really popped. And I guess the essence of that was really just about kind of opening up and breaking free of some of the molds of perspectives of what healers are, of what the way healing has been perceived in the past, and just kind of wanting to open things up a bit and break open those molds and just totally be ourselves, even if that's a little irreverent. I can't even say that word today. and just show up and have these chats. Colleen and I have been having these amazing chats for a couple of years now, and we get into these great topics, and then we thought, let's do this for other people. Let's share this and share these conversations. So that's what today is all about. And our first topic is misconceptions of being a healer. Woo.
Yeah. I should create a banner for that.
That's a great idea. That will help later with the, helping people find what they want. So while you're doing that, maybe I can just start that off with, there's a whole kind of perception of what a healer is. You're supposed to wear all the hippie clothes and be wearing lots of crystals and burning sage and all of this kind of stuff, and that's fine, that's totally fine, but it doesn't have to be like that. And I really noticed for my own business that as I really got a sense of who I am and what I wanted to share and create in the world, I really kind of moved away from the whole sort of hippie vibe. I mean, that kind of hippie energy is still part of me. It's always going to be there, but it's not necessarily how I present myself today. And I think it wasn't necessarily a conscious decision, but it did come from being aware that I wanted to connect with all types of people. I wanted to work with people in mainstream society, perhaps people who didn't really know what a healer was specifically, so that I would reach a broader audience, and so that I could take energy healing into that mainstream area in some ways. Now, these days we know that there's healing is a lot more open, a lot more people understand what energy healing is. So, those molds are all being sort of broken apart as we speak. But yeah, it was just about opening that up to a different level. So yeah, how did that sort of show up for you, those misconceptions?
Yeah, Colleen? Forgive me for a moment. When you first started talking about, you're still a hippie at heart, I was trying to picture you as a hippie.
I so am a hippie. I have a photo somewhere, which I don't have access to at the moment, but I've got this big black kind of hippie hat on, and this real, I was about 16, I had this real hippie vibe going on. Big that floppy kind of hat,
Yeah, because for me, like, that sounds more like a costume, right? Yeah. And I came from an acting background. And I think we had talked a couple of weeks ago too. I remember being called into a particular audition. I was not the right age for it, but my agent, they're like, we know you have all the stuff, right? Like, they wanted me to be this gypsy, like looking into a crystal ball. And yeah, I had like some pirate stuff, and I had, some flowy skirts and things, and the scarves and the beads. And so I was like, yeah, I could show up and do that. But I was playing a character, right? I was playing into the conceptions of what we thought. We were trying to read their minds of what they wanted this particular persona to show up as. And ultimately, I really just want to be myself, right? Like, so how can I still be authentic, be myself, and be a healer,
Yes.
and to still stay grounded, right? Like
Yeah.
I've had some friends of mine be like, you're a healer, but like, don't you have to like have your like, feet float above the ground when you do that? Like you're just so
Yeah.
high on life, and like woo, like
Yeah. Yeah.
woo woo, literally, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
a lot of people kind of, they've got this idea that you have to be ungrounded or you have to be disconnected from earthly things in order to really be able to do the spiritual stuff. And really the actual healing works best when the rubber meets the road, when you're able to join those two.
Exactly. And you can't take your healing business to a professional level if you are ungrounded. You have to marry those physical and spiritual elements. You have to be able to understand and work with business. And that was something that I really did not understand, that I really kind of avoided in the beginning, and to my own detriment. Once I started to look more at those sort of things that I'd previously tried to avoid, the more I actually started to understand them from a spiritual perspective. It's like business didn't have to be what other business people made it. It could still be authentic. It could still be kind of heart-based, and I could work with it in a way that was grounded, but also, very authentic. So it really is just kind of turning all those old paradigms on their head and creating from this this new space of being, which is, that very grounded perspective. And I just want to mention, we had one caller and we had two callers, and we're back to one caller. So thank you so much for being with us. We're very excited to be having this first episode, and that someone showed up to be with us. Yay.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here. We love having your energy and your contribution. Thank you so much. And when you were talking too about business, right? It reminded me of that notion that somehow you have to walk away from business in order to be a healer, right? And I don't know where that comes from, whether that's from like some religious thing, some Buddha thing, some Jesus thing, where you got to give up all of your worldly goods in order to follow the path. And we all know somebody who's just like, the money's just going to show up. The universe will provide. And it's like, honey, rent's due. Like you got to have a plan, right? Like it's great to be open to stuff. But having plan B, plan C, a couple other things, like a couple irons in the fire, there's nothing that says you can't be a healer and still be doing those practical things to get stuff moving.
Exactly. And you have to really honor yourself. You have to value yourself. You have to be willing to take what you do to the next level and really raise your vibration. And then you will attract those better quality clients. You will attract those clients that are ready to take that step, that they're ready for that level of transformation that you can offer. But you have to go there first. You have to be willing to take that leap, and maybe if it's charge a little more for your sessions or do something different, because I see a lot of healers that other people are charging this amount, so I should change charge the same. And it's like, no, it's you have to resonate with what's right for you, with what you what makes you feel valued, what makes you feel joyful. It's very much a personal thing. Just to really...
And that you can charge for your time, for your expertise. There are people who again, they feel called to just accept donations or to not actually put a price on it. But you got to work on yourself about that stuff. You are your own first best client as a healer. And just the more you work on yourself, the more you're going to open yourself up. I was talking to a friend of mine just a few days ago, and she's known me for over 20 years, back when we both used to work in corporate. And she said something to me that I was like, oh yeah, like I didn't really think of it that way. And she says, you've changed your life.
Yeah.
And, when you just know yourself from day to day and, you don't really think of that larger perspective of, several decades, it's like, yeah, wow. When I think of who I was at the beginning of around 2000, Like I was completely different.
Oh,
And
yeah.
what I'm doing now isn't necessarily like I've dedicated, about 5 years to Theta Healing, to the healing technique that I'm certified in now. But there were a lot of other things I did along the way that opened things up and got me there. And I just kept trying and kept working on myself.
Yeah.
And so you've really got to, just be your own advocate and don't give up on yourself, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And another part of this whole misconceptions of being a healer is about, having to have the illness to heal it, to change it. And it's like, that's such a kind of fifth plane perspective. It's being a healer is a journey, not a destination. So we learn and we grow, we go through our own personal challenges, but that doesn't mean that we have to do that we have to take on an illness, that we have to have it, that we have to go through something ourselves to be able to facilitate or support someone else. Because as you would have found yourself, Colleen, that sometimes you get people show up with something going on that you have never had anything to do with before. You may not know much about it, but in trusting yourself, in working with Creator, as we do through Theta Healing, and doing your work, you facilitate an amazing healing for that person. And you didn't necessarily know anything about it. Now, you learned from it, you learned through the experience, but it's not about that personal knowledge. It's actually about being willing to step up and listen and learn as you go along. And, Creator guides us through all of that.
Right. Yeah. Trusting in yourself and trusting in the tools, like whether you're using Theta Healing, whether you're using some other healing modality, again, the more you work on yourself, the more you practice, the easier it's going to be for you to be like, all right, let's go. Right. I have no idea where this is going to go, but we're going to do it together. And don't get me wrong. There are some really amazing people out there who have suffered through a particular illness, who have a story, who have then transformed themselves and, successfully market themselves and have a business that is that niche of like, hey, I've done this. I've been through this. I can help you through it. I don't want to discount that at all. But if you don't have to do the suffering, you don't have to have the thing and go through it in order to be able to heal it, to be able to heal others, right? You can just be a healer. And whatever they come to you with is like, all right, like let's do it, right? And that kind of segues into our next episode. Sorry, I'm introducing it a little early, but our next episode is crazy. Should I? I'll do the safe for work way of saying it, but crazy stuff clients say. Yeah.
We thought that would be a very fun topic just to we want to create topics that are fun, that kind of people are like, yeah, what's all that about? Of course, we are respectful in terms of client confidentiality, so we're not going to go blabbing our clients' secrets and that. But we definitely want to have a chat about, some of the crazy things people say and things that can come up in a session. And also, we've just got a thumbs up from Catherine. Thanks, hon. Lovely to see you here. Great. Glad you could join us.
Awesome. Oh, and you actually saw the name. I guess you're looking at it. Okay, because I
discovered that if I put my mouse over it, that name comes up. So there you go. We're learning as we go on this show.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. That's amazing. Yeah.
Awesome.
So I guess the next thing about it is misconceptions of being a healer, but there's also misconceptions of being a healee, like of being a client. Like that somehow you have to have exhausted everything in order to come to a healer. Like you must be crazy. You must have tried everything else to be able to go to a healer, right? Like because somehow that's the conception of energy healing too. Like it's an alternative healing. They don't even call it traditional, right? It's not even really accepted, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember last year in my health science studies, thanks, lovely. in my studies last year, one of the topics was history of healing. So we looked at healing from its beginning origins through time. And this type of healing, like, even though it was a little different then, and, you know, of course, there was the, you know, like the medicine men and the evil spirits, and then there was the herbal women, the women who did the herbs, and the medicine women. All of that was normal. That was the traditional. That was not alternative. It was part of the whole healing, and for some, depending on the culture and all that, for some aspects of that were like support within the community and prayer, or, you know, whatever it was. But now we have Western medicine that is kind of taken the lead, and which is great, because we have learned so much about the human body through science and medicine. There's been some amazing technologies that have come through, and some information that's come through from that. However, what we call alternative medicine got pushed aside, and really the two need to be working together. And like you said, Colleen, so many people that come to see us have got to that point of despair. They've exhausted all of the normal modes of health care, and then reach out to a healer at that last minute. And it doesn't have to be like that. You can actually just choose to come along and have a healing session, you know, which some people do, but not everyone understands what healing is all about. Some people show up for sessions and just really have no idea what's going to happen. So good on them for being so brave. And I think that speaks to us as healers in the energy that we be. The people that we attract to us are the ones that are ready for whatever it is that we have to offer. So, yeah, got any more to say on that, Colleen?
I did, and then it flew out of my head, and then it flew right back in. So it's about how, you know, you don't have to, you can marry the two, right? They don't have to be mutually exclusive. But it is such a misconception that I actually have a disclaimer on my website, and when you sign up for a session with me, that this is not a substitute for Western medical care, that this is supposed to complement or supplement that. Like, I am not gonna, I mean, there's liability issues. Again, I'm from America. We're a very litigious society, but I'm not going to tell you that it's wrong, or that you should stop a treatment that you're already under. Like, I'm just here to support whatever choices you've already got. Ultimately, you heal yourself, right? We as healers really just create that space to allow you to remember how to be well.
Exactly. Yeah.
And however we show up, we don't have to be burning the sage and doing the little drum dance and everything. I mean, if you want that, we could do the dog and pony show. I don't know how much the dog and the pony are going to need for that gig, but it's possible.
Yeah, and not only that, you spoke in the beginning about the, with the acting and all of that, and the costume. Sometimes for a healer or psychic or whatever, sometimes that works. Sometimes that's part of the presentation, because having worked for many, many years at different expos and that, there are some people who part of their brand is that whole kind of gypsy look, or whatever that is. So sometimes that is part of the brand, that people go to like an expo or something like that, and they look for that kind of energy. That's what they're there for. When you have an online business, perhaps it's a little bit different. If you're working with business people, or something like that, you're not going to show up in your hippie gear, because it's just not going to speak to that audience,
Right. That's not the experience they're buying from you, right? And it really is about, what experience do you want to create or co-create with the people that you're attracting, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. If you don't want that high entertainment value, then show up in a little bit more conservative dress, or ultimately just be yourself, right? Because there's how many billions of people on the planet. We individually don't have to heal all of them. We don't even have to serve even just a fraction of them. There's plenty of clients to go around for everybody. And even all of our clients don't have to be exclusive, right? Like you and I could share clients. I could have people who go, you can shop, clients can shop for healers, right?
Yes. So, and you know what? I just saw this quote this morning. So perfect timing. I think it's from John Canary, and it just popped up on something I watched this morning, and it said, amateurs compete, professionals create. And, you know, it really resonated with me because I've seen a lot of that competition going on in different things that I've done. And I know that when I've created stuff or co-created stuff with friends like we're doing now, Colleen, it's not about competition. It's about, hey, we're creating something amazing here at the moment. And thank you to all the other viewers that are popping in at the moment. You know, we're creating together, and whatever we create from that is amazing. We are both theta healers, but we both have our own little bit different areas that we focus on. But we come together to collaborate and to create something greater just through, you know, like we said, we have great conversations. We love chatting about these things, and we wanted to share that with other people. So, yeah, but what was it? Amateurs
compete.
Professionals create. So yeah, I really love that. We
And
should have had that on a banner.
We should. Well, yeah. You want to go type that on a banner while I go share a story? Yeah, because you know it's true in other industries as well. It's not just healing, right? Particularly because I was an on-camera actress for 18 years, and the ones that stuck around were the ones who really supported each other. Right. Like, you know, when I would be up for a gig, you know, they have a breakdown. Right. And so it's like, OK, you know, who looks like me. Right. Who's that age range? Who's got, you know, the body type or whatever. So there's like, you know, everybody, because every other time there's a breakdown for this particular character, we're all the ones that get the call. And, you know, you don't want to be, if we're catty, like that's just, it doesn't create a good energy. It's more of like, hey, great to see you again. One of us is going to get this, right? Like and we wouldn't have been called in if somebody somewhere didn't already believe we could do the job.
Exactly.
You know, but even so, like there's so many breakdowns out there. You know, I would network with other actors. I would tell, hello, Jody. Thanks so much. She just put in a comment there too.
And we've got a heart as well. Thank you so much.
Cool. Excellent. So
loving the love.
Yes. Thank you so much. You know, but I would share, be like, hey, I'm not right for this, but you might be perfect for it. So, you know, being able to collaborate in that way as well was really, you know, really just created a good energy and a good community among those people too, you know, and even in business as well, you know, if it's like, hey, you know, I'm struggling with this project, or I don't really have the expertise for this, you know, could you work with me? Do you have some time, you know, on your calendar that you could help contribute to this project as well? And so, you know, but the competition is just going to drag you down, right? It's going to be a very hollow victory. Like you might get the prize, but at what cost? Because there's nobody else there with you on the podium.
Exactly. Yeah, great comments. All right, so we're just about on 20 minutes, I think. So is there anything else we need to add to that? We have a couple of things we want to share before we go, but any more on that topic, Colleen?
Nothing from me. If there's anything I want to say from the peanut gallery, but you know, that is such, I'm way too young to be saying that. You know, but thank you. Is there anybody? The fact that I know it, I guess, is well, I mean, we live in an age where nothing really kind of goes out, you know, goes out of style. Like everything is available all the time. So everything comes back around and cycles back around. So those bell-bottom pants, those floral, all comes back. Mini skirts, out they go, back they come in again. So. Whatever. All right. No, so, yes.
We did want to share before we go, first of all, that thank you so much for being here, whether you're watching now or in later. We really appreciate you hanging out with us for a chat. We have lots more coming. As Colleen said, our next topic is the crazy stuff clients say. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be in about 3 weeks, but we'll post the info in the two Unholy Healers group so that you will know, or page, sorry, so that you'll know what's going on. Now, we have a couple of things coming up we'd like to quickly share. So for myself, next week I have the Intuition Accelerator class. That is like a 2.5 hour class on May the 5th, Adelaide time. If you go to my Facebook page, which Colleen has just popped up there, you'll be able to find the details for that. And this is just such a great way to have some fun, develop your intuition. We're going to be doing lots of energy shifting, clearing all of those blocks to intuition, and having a bit of a laugh and some fun, and learning some tools and skills as you go along. So don't miss that. Colleen, what do you got coming up?
I've got quite a few things coming up. I actually have if you want to learn how to be a theta healer, I have a basic class coming up online starting on Friday, April 30th. It's a 3-day class. So it's the 30th, May 1st, May 2nd, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And when you go to my website, you can actually, there's a little time zone converter there. So you can find out what time that's going to be in your time zone. But because it starts Friday, you kind of have to sign up like now so I can get you the materials.
And just to remember that Colleen is in the United States for those who don't know that. So be aware of that time difference.
Yes, I am on the East Coast of the United States, and I'm going to be English. I'm going to be teaching in English. Yes, that's what's coming up immediately. And then in a few weeks, if you're already a theta healer, I have 2 practice groups coming up. One on May 11th about anger, frustration, resentment, and revenge, which should be really juicy. And then another one on May 14th about time and money, which is already wildly popular. So make sure if you're interested in doing that, make sure you get in on that. And then I have a Dig Deeper certification class coming up that weekend, the 15th and 16th of May. So those are my big things that are coming up. And you can go to my website. It's my name, ColleanO'Brien.com, that you can see on the banner there. And of course, we'll also be sharing to the page with, with those reminders, and it'll be, easily clickable, I guess is what I want to communicate there, so that you don't have to try and transcribe and type and fat finger whatever's on the banner here as well. So I'm really excited about your intuition incubator. That sounds like
Accelerator, but incubator sounds very interesting. And also just on that's kind of like a special topic show that I'm going to be doing. There's going to be more of them coming. We've got a clearing your money blocks. There's going to be one on eating disorders, and there's going to be other different health issues that we're going to be really honing in on. I haven't finalized all the details for them, but the Intuition Accelerator is the only one I actually have a date for at the moment. So watch the Facebook page or contact me through the mailing list or my website and get on the mailing list so that you can get updates and notifications of those, because I don't always get time to put them all on the website. So Facebook or through my mailing list, you can get that.
And there's a link to your website on your Facebook page, the Keryn Lee Healing Facebook page, right? So they'll be able to sign up that way. And again, we can always put up another post too, so that you can join either of our mailing lists as well. But so if you'd like to spend some more time with us individually, live for our events, that's great. And of course, we're gonna have more episodes as well. So stay tuned for our next episode, which is the crazy stuff that clients say. That should be tons of fun. And of course, if you've got any questions or any topic suggestions, please do put that in the comments. Reach out to us. Let's get a discussion going about that, because this show really depends on you guys being viewers, because like Keryn and I can talk all we want, but having you guys be part of the conversation is really bringing that element in. So thank you so much for everybody who did watch live. Thank you for those of you who have watched the replay, who have come all the way to the end. So we're really pleased that's it. We've done our first episode done.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to sign off now, and we look forward to seeing you next time round. Bye.
Bye.